People, they evils, since you do your one sub plays, they drop Bouncer. You're pretty much shut up for 2 turns at least. But which usually by the end of that you're kind of stuck underneath them. You pretty much mind control, take that Bouncer, exceed the Gaia Charger, and just laugh at them. So okay, there's the extra. Going to the side changed a little bit from what it originally was. Pretty much start off the 1 MST to side in for any deck that loves to spam its back rows. The other Torrential Tribute, which this would be interchanged depending on the monsters I would side in and out and what deck I was playing. 2 Light Imprisonings. This slows down the Lightsworn engine. The deck itself is made for slowing down. This build of the deck is made for slowing down. So Light Imprisoning Mirror adds to that and allows you to build up on top of them. Next up, at the time I couldn't actually get 2 macros and was forced to run 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors. Afterwards, tournament though, but put them in later. But for the tournament, I actually done 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors, 2 Fiendish Chains, 2 Bottomless, which they were interchangeable with the compulsories. Because some decks really were totally ineffective against when using the compulsory. So now we have the monsters in the side. Puppet Plants for the samurai matchups, because this deck does not like having to deal with Shein. This thing could easily jack the Shein, build up your play, and have a response for them next turn. And can even work against heroes. Last up in the monsters is 2 Fossil Dyna. This guy, he shows up, he runs the field. This deck, since it does its one-off turn plays and controls the field differently, it would pretty much set up Logia 1 turn and summon Fossil Dyna the next, and you just start swinging, and they would be sitting there with an empty field with a Gorsting in hand, and well, nothing they can do there. Anytime I would play Fossil Dyna, they would have to immediately get it out the way by using a Soul Taker. One person used Soul Taker, another one used Dark Hole. What else? The other one had the one match I had lost. Actually, the guy was playing Rabbit, and he pretty much had an answer for everything. I was going off all over the place. I had put out all my evil swords, gotten everything played out, and pretty much he had an answer to everything. I had brought out Serato, I had 2 Westlow. He drops scores. I'm like, okay, exceed into, this is game 1, mind you, exceed into Acid Golem. Pass turn, he top decks Soul Taker, game 1. I proceed to finally get the Gores out the way. I normally summon Apache Cephalo, and I'm like, okay, I'm good, swing for 12. Pass turn, he top decks the Sabersaurus. But other than that, Fossil Dyna himself, he actually, in the version I'm working on, is going to be main decked. This guy is brilliant in the deck when he's played properly. Alright, so that's the side. If you actually notice, there's 14 cards inside. The 15th spot, I'd actually, for the tournament, put in Prohibition. Didn't actually use the card, but for that time, I was actually rushing for the last spot. The guys were like, okay, get it out, get the last spot in there. And really should have just put in a Gore, so. But, yeah, that's the deck. This version of the deck, it's a lot different than the other ones I've really seen. There's one that is close to it, but it's more of a 43 card build, which I hate any building, running a deck that has more than 40 cards. So, pretty much this deck is based on control, maining field, and pretty much just putting up a wall when it needs to, rather than the other decks, which the other evil decks usually prefer their Najashos, making the big plays, bringing out Volcano and such, which, in my opinion, if people are running high on effect veilers, your Volcanos are not going to be very happy people. So, yeah, that's this version of the deck, the triple Yeah, I think I pretty much explained everything with why I have everything the way it is. Yeah, so pretty much this deck, when I had run it, it went 4-3. First time I lost was actually against Rabbit, which, as I explained, the guy pretty much had an out for everything. Game 1, he dropped Gores after the Aztec Golem. I didn't really care for until he top decked Soul Taker. Game 1, that still bugs me. And pretty much had stopped me from there. Game 2, came back and smashed him. Game 3, he pretty much summoned Logia, proceeded to childless my Weslo when he attacked it. So he just had the outs for it then. I didn't have the answers. The other game I'd lost, the first one I'd actually lost, Rabbit was the second one I lost against. This first one I lost against was against Samurai. Game 1, he had the nuts, he had Shein, I couldn't get around it. Game 2, smashed him. Game 3, I had pretty much drew my only out, Volcano. Go figure, run one of them and you managed to top deck him. Had drawn 2 Najashos, had drawn my Evil Forces. I was like, okay, I can get out of this. I can run over the Cherry Beast. I can sit it with Logia. Could have stopped the play. Nope, drew the Volcano. So lost from that. Last time I lost was round 7. I had dropped after round 7. I just wasn't happy after what happened in round 7. Round 7, we open up. I go first. He makes his play. He goes Future Fusion. Builds up the grave. Sends out Dark Armed. I set up my field. Have to do one. I had brought out Dolka because I had opened up my Najasho Evil Force play. So immediately set up a Dolka. Set 3 back rows. I believe it was compulsory. Book of Moon, Lance. Add effect Valor in hand as well. He manages to drop BLS, along with the fact that he summons Tour Guide. I veiled the Tour Guide. He still manages. He flips face up another monster he had, which was Card Trooper. Middle of a Card Trooper managed to get the last Dark he needed, which he had banished. Yeah, he had gone to banish, set up his graveyard, added Dark Arm to hand, and just managed to play off and get around my back rows, and couldn't get back to that. Game 2, he manages to do the same thing again. He goes Future Fusion, BLS, just proceeds to go summon BLS, drop Dark Armed, fish a Dark, a Light, summon Pulsar, OTK. I had pretty much set Weslo, and he bodied it with Dark Arm, so that's pretty much what happened in the deck. Any other matchups I had? First matchup I had was up against Hieretics. Game 1, the match was going back and forth. Game 1, I managed to win it when I had he had Summon Bouncer, I had mind controlled it, exceeded into Guide Charger, swung for game. Game 2, he manages to draw the OTK hand, so I didn't have Dark Hole, couldn't get out of it. Game 3, we proceed. We start up a few rounds in. I summon Pachycephalo, start swinging on him, summon another Serrato, he compulses the Serrato. I continue swinging on him. He manages to Soul Taker to Pachycephalo. I Monster Reborn it. He manages to Dark Hold it. I normal summoned the other Pachycephalo from my hand and just kept swinging for game. Game 2 was against round 2 was up against Frog Monarchs. Again, game 1 I had easily won. Just kept controlling the field. Kept taking out his frogs every time he tried to summon them. Didn't draw his monarchs. Game 2, I had just pretty much summoned Pachycephalo. People love running into Soul Takers. They Soul Taker did. I brought it back. Same thing. I kept drawing my Pachycephalo, so he couldn't get out his frogs. So I pretty much locked him down. Won that one. Game 3 was against a Rabbit player. They pretty much reborned my Fossil Diana. Thought I was gonna drop Gores on them. I don't run Gores in this build due to the fact that it loves having cards on the field. But yeah, beat the Rabbit player. The last round I played against was on Windups. Game 1, I had pretty much locked them down because I drew into my Veilers and managed to build up my field. They couldn't get over my monsters. Game 2, they opened up with a loop, so couldn't do anything from there. Game 3, I pretty much sat Patchy Cephalo and had Veilers, so won that one. But yeah, that's pretty much how Nats went. That's pretty much how the rounds went. Got some stuff signed. You know, the Stardust. Blue Eyes, enemy controller. Start assault mode, graceful dice, and the red eyes. But yeah, same as everyone says, rate, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah. Thank you. Bond of Wind out.